Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today I'm over on the power level account and we're going to be checking out the wish list. Now this is something very early game, guys, that you really do want to focus on. When you set this up right, I know within the power level account we made a lot of progression, kind of dropped off, don't have enough time and effort to play the power level account, but I did want to cover, guys, the wish list. So within the wish list, there are very specific heroes that will help you make a lot of different progression. When you look in here at the popular heroes, don't really pay attention to this, guys. As much as I do like these formations and looking at the heroes in here, it is very, very deceiving when it comes to the heroes that you do want to build within specific formations, which again, we're going to kind of go over today. Even looking here, guys, some of the formations are pretty close to what a lot of players are building. Some of these I don't, again, recommend looking at the popular heroes and kind of looking at the lineup of what we're seeing here. So for our Lightbearer heroes, we're going to run through each individual faction, guys, and I'm going to really tell you why. So looking at the Lightbearer faction, number one priority, guys, is Scarlet. Now, Scarlet, of course, you want to build out as much as possible. Utilizing her within the guild formations, using her in the Twisted Realm, using her in the Cursed Realm. There are a lot of game modes that Scarlet is super, super effective in, which is the reason why you do want to build her. Followed by Rosaline. Now, Rosaline, not Rosaline, Rosaline. Rosaline will actually boost the damage amplification of anybody that she's following. In addition, she will also provide additional ults, which means that if she is following Scarlet, additional ults will follow, guys. Very, very important to have her built. Also, the higher that you do build her out, the better she is going to perform, meaning that she is actually going to give more stats to the individual that she is following at that point. Next one within the list, guys, is Palmer. Almost for the exact same reason, guys. Palmer is very, very game-changing. We actually see him in a lot of different formations. Overall, he is super effective in a ton of game modes, and he is literally just a buffer booster healing within formations. Even looking at these three together, guys, formation very strong together. I'm not going into the Awakened heroes because they can change up the formation a little bit, but this is a very, very strong beginning when you're playing AFK Arena, followed by Rowan. Now, Rowan, most of you know that he is my absolute favorite hero within AFK Arena. Getting him to Mythic, getting him the plus 30 signature item is really all that he needs, and he will perform incredibly, absolutely incredibly well, guys, which I love, and the reason why I love him. So again, looking at the Lightbearer Tower, guys, this is a really solid setup when you look at the builds. The final one that I would put in here would be Hendrik. Big reason is Lightbearer Towers, guys, you're going to need 2 tanks. You're going to need some heroes to actually progress in here. Hendrik is used in quite a few game modes. Very solid tank, does require him to be built out a little bit, but overall, this team will work early game. Once you get them up to Ascended, pretty much you're going to drop them out, guys, when you get them to Ascended, because even looking at the engraving aspect, Scarlet will want the engraving. You have Palmer that would want the engraving. The rest of these heroes, not a priority when it comes to the engraving whatsoever. Looking at our Maulers, number one, guys, that we've seen, one of the absolute biggest game changers is Honesta. Now, Honesta, of course, being in a ton of formations, guys, the utility of this hero is super, super high. Absolutely wanting to build out Honesta. Now, the Maulers in particular, very kind of set with the different heroes in here. Number 2 being Kren. Both of them, Honesta and Kren, need to be built out considerably to be effective. The higher that you get them, the higher the DPS they're going to put out, meaning that you're going to have the ability to actually make progression quite a bit faster based on the heroes that you have within here. Now, another one, guys, is Screg. Screg is a hero that I feel a lot of players do overlook. Now, with Screg, guys, the furniture on him is super important. Not only the signature item, plus 20 signature item, but the 9 of 9 furniture on Screg is super, super important to build out because of the invade team, guys. when you have heroes like Anasta, when you have heroes like Antandra, when you have the awakened version of Brutus, when you have Frampton, when you have any heroes specifically that are going to go to the enemy side and pretty much stay on the enemy side, that is when you do want to run Screg within that formation, making it super, super important, guys. The final one that I would do would be Brutus. Now, Brutus, of course, this is the original version of Brutus. You only need really one single copy. When you do get that one single copy of Brutus, he is going to provide you an immunity shield through a lot of content in AFK Arena, which again is the reason that I would build him. After kind of building him out, I would probably go, I would go with Skarath, or I would go with Salakai. The big reason, guys, is because, again, going back to the tower progression, you are going to need a support hero in here. Nemitsu has done it for an incredible amount of time. So Salakai can work incredibly well within formations, but Skarath has the ability in other formations. However, Skarath in the 5-pole, we're seeing the campaign formations is really the only place, which again is why I would probably go with Salakai in here, just to have an all-around well-rounded Mauler team. Now looking at our Wilders, guys, there's a couple in here that I took for granted, which of course we're going to start with Orin. Orin, guys, is just a monster when you build him out. He is an absolute monster. And similar to most of our DPS heroes, the higher that you build him out, the better that you build him out, the better he is going to perform within here. Now, another one, very solid tank, crowd control aspect, is Mishka, guys. Mishka does incredibly well. Since we've seen the arrival of Nevi, so Navanthi has actually kind of backseated a lot of other heroes. We used to build a star because of the damage mitigation. As of right now, guys, Nevi is being used in a ton of content, absolutely being put into a ton of content, which I love to see. Very, very cool to see that she is being utilized. Another one, of course, being Raku. Now, Raku is a hero, guys, that we're still using in a lot of different formations. I like seeing him built out. Now, two heroes to really mention in here that we see early game, Iran and Laika, both of those do well very early game, for the simple fact, guys, that similar to Mahira, similar to a lot of other heroes, their abilities work even without being built. Laika will provide the awe ability, which will of course boost energy and haste. Iran will pull in, do the actual 5-pull if you have Skarath, but again, it seems like short of the campaign formation, that is really all that is being utilized for. So what I'm actually seeing right now with a lot of these formations, guys, is there's a lot of heroes that you might have in a formation that essentially you're going to drop out pretty quick, or they're not going to be utilized as much in the campaign, because if you pull an awakened hero, or when you pull an awakened hero, chances are it is going to replace one of these heroes that you really don't have built. Which means that you're going to see a lot of other heroes in these formations. Now, for the final slot, guys, I would still put a star in here. Now, again, a star is being utilized in a lot of different formations. If she is built up as a support hero, not only does she have damage mitigation, but she also provides an incredible amount of damage, again, and healing when you have her built up. Now, Graveborns, this has been kind of on the fence with a couple different heroes in here, but the primary in here that we're still seeing utilized in an incredible amount of places, guys, is Grez. Now, Grez, of course, goes hand in hand with Scarlet. Most of their formations run together. Further built by Nevi. Again, a lot of heroes kind of build off of each other depending on who you're building within these formations. Grez can fill a slot. He does have to scale, though, guys. You want to build him up. He does a lot of damage with the minions that actually blow up. So when he summons up the minions with shields, they blow up pretty quick. Definitely a big hero to build in here. Now, next one I would look at, and again, super important, guys, is Damon. Now, Damon, early game, even going early game, mid game, Damon will carry you through every formation. In this account specifically, he is the first one that I built. I built him up all the way with the signature item. I wouldn't engrave him, but if you do take him to a +30 engraving, not really any love lost there, Big reason for that, guys, is he is still being utilized in a lot of different game modes. We are still seeing utilization within the campaign, as well as some other places, definitely having a place within AFK Arena. Now, next one, of course, guys, Oden. He is another hero, DPS-wise, similar to Raku, similar to Kren. Oden needs to be built up, guys. The more you build him out, the more you stack stats on him, the better he is going to perform overall. Super impressive when it comes to the damage. He is not only a damage dealer, but he is also a disruptor for formations. He is also a stealer of energy. Works incredibly well within formations, guys. Now, some of the other heroes, again, that really early game work incredibly well. Pharrell works incredibly well just with one single copy. The crowd control will still be there. Same with Nara. Nara provides some crowd control, which again, you can target specific heroes with Nara, with the fear that Pharrell has or the horrify that he has. Both of those heroes work incredibly well early game with just one single copy. If you're looking for more, getting into, you know, a little bit more progression, Silas going to be a very solid choice. Once you get his plus 30 signature item, he is going to yield you additional attack. And the next hero that I would say in here, guys, again, kind of looking through here, I know a lot of players are not fans of the Thorn Cheese, but I would recommend building out a hero like Treznar. Now, Treznar, of course, does require a significant investment, but the ability to go to the enemy side, it is really, really good early game, guys. It does make, again, a big difference. And when you look at campaign formations, you are only running 5 heroes within those campaign formations. Again, Treznar does well, Hodgkin does well, even Kayleen does well. Again, a lot of heroes within the Graveborns that really do incredibly well. So again, a little bit different than the popular formations that we see in here, but overall, guys, pretty good builds. This will be a solid progression for the towers. So once you do make a little bit of progression, you start getting into the actual faction towers. A majority of these teams are going to be able to carry you and carry you for a while within those game modes. And like I said earlier, guys, when you actually start going through here, you'll get Celestial heroes, you'll get Hypogen heroes, you'll get Awakened heroes. You're going to get a lot of heroes as you continue your progression in here that are going to complement the heroes that you do have in the wish list. And again, a majority of these heroes you're going to build up to that ascended level. Not a huge priority to put a lot of stars on these heroes as early game going into mid game. You want to make sure that you're prioritizing heroes within different wish lists, including the signature items, including the engraving, as well as the furniture, to really prioritize who you're going to build. So, all right, guys, so that'll do it for today's video. Just kind of wanted to cover the wish list. And another interesting thing to really think about this, within the wish list, guys, is if you are a newer player to AFK Arena, you have the ability to build out heroes like Palmer. You have the ability to build out heroes like Salakai, like Orin, Nevi in there, even looking at heroes like Treznar. They are heroes that are relatively new to AFK Arena, meaning that as you continue progression, as you're moving through the wish list, as you're moving through heroes, you can actually build them out much higher versus heroes that have already progressed to a certain point in AFK Arena, because earlier players are going to have access to these heroes, but you're also going to get a absolute ton of summons for these heroes as you continue to make progression. So guys, again, that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.